This is the Dell MS700 Ultra Portable Mouse. It is small, light, and low profile with a twist. Now, this is the first in a series of reviews I'm going to be completing in the Ultra Portable Mouse category. There's affiliate links in the video description if you decide that this mouse is right for you. And now, let's jump into the details. Starting with build and design, this is an Ultra Portable Mouse, so it's meant to be used on the go. As a result, the twist is quite literal, actually, because this mouse spins. This spinning motion serves as the on-off control for the mouse, on when opened and off when closed. When open, the mouse is a pretty traditional size and height. It's also fairly light for a non-gaming mouse at least, coming in at 75 grams. When closed though, the height is reduced by about 40%. It becomes a very small, compact rectangle, smaller than most cell phones, and therefore easy to fit into a pocket or a travel bag. The appearance is very corporate, as you'd expect from Dell. Full black top, simple silver bottom. There's hard plastic used throughout, though the heel of the mouse has a slightly softer coating compared to the front of the mouse. The middle scroll section is touch sensitive and is a glossy black, which stands out amongst the matte look for the rest of the plastic. Finally, the mouse is unbranded on top, which I quite like, with the Dell logo only appearing when you twist it closed. For ergonomics, this mouse isn't ideal, though you might already expect that from something designed to highlight portability above all else. The shape is low and arched. It's relatively wide, which makes it feel somewhat spacious, but it suffers from the same issue as other mice of this type. Without anything on the sides, your pinky and ring finger are kind of left without a natural place to rest. You can either let them sit on the table next to the mouse, which isn't ideal, curl them underneath, which is awkward, or try to position them on that skinny little side of the mouse, which I expect is likely to be the most common approach. After testing it for a while, you definitely can get used to it, but it is certainly not a good position to have your hand in for a very long period of time. So if you're concerned about ergonomics at all, you should probably consider something else. Particularly get something that's a little bit larger, slightly less portable, but gives you more support. That hand positioning isn't even the worst part of this mouse though. For that, we have to talk about glide. Glide is the experience as you move the mouse across your desk, table, or a mouse pad. In a perfect world, this should be very smooth and easy. With this Dell mouse, unfortunately, it's anything but. The feet are a rough, textured material. You can see it pretty easily when you look up close. As a result, the glide is bad, and perhaps worst of all, it's noisy. Whether on a cloth mouse pad, a leather mouse pad, or just straight on a table, it all sounds pretty bad. Now, you could certainly improve the glide by purchasing some third-party mouse skates that would stick onto the bottom feet. On the front, this would likely work just fine, but given how small the back foot is, it might be tough to find something that would actually work, especially given that this mouse is meant to be used for travel, and if the feet are sticking off slightly, they'd be very prone to just getting pulled off in a bag or a pocket. Moving to buttons and wheels, the primary left and right clicks are some of the most quiet I've used. Here they are compared to a regular mouse click and to Logitech's silent clicks. In between those buttons is a touch-sensitive scroll wheel. It's obviously not a wheel per se, but I don't really know what else to call it. Overall, it works well for fast scrolling, but it is hard to be precise with it. Outside of these main functions, there are no other buttons on this mouse, meaning no middle click, no forward and back buttons, just basic left and right clicks and simple scrolling. For other functionality and features, this has a basic optical sensor that can be set to 1000, 1600, 2400, or 4000 DPI, with 1600 serving as the default. Tracking is fine for a productivity mouse like this, but the poor glide makes it a little bit tough to use, especially on a higher sensitivity. Since the physical movement of the mouse just isn't that smooth, if your sensitivity is high, it can feel like your cursor is jumping when you try to make smaller movements. At a lower sensitivity, it works better, but you then have to move the mouse a lot further, and as a result, you have to listen to that sound a lot more frequently. Just like the shortcomings I described with scrolling and sort of as an overall theme for this mouse with the glide and the sensor and the scrolling and all of it, it'll be fine for simple computing needs, but it'll be pretty annoying for anyone who wants or needs precision. For connectivity, there are 3 Bluetooth 5.0 connections with a button on the bottom used for pairing and switching between them. Once you spin the mouse into its open position, it turns on and attempts to repair to the last connected device, which is very handy. For battery, it takes 2 AAA batteries and gets up to 24 months of use. They are stored behind a small magnetic door on the back, and underneath that, there is an interesting sliding mechanism that holds them down, and I assume prevents them from falling out if you dropped this and the magnetic door came off. For compatibility, you can use this mouse with Mac, Windows, Linux, etc. I tested it on both Windows and Mac. Both worked fine, but since this is a Dell, it definitely favors Windows. The prime example of that is the customization platform known as Dell Peripheral Manager. It allows for some very limited customization, adjusting touch scroll sensitivity, swapping whether left or right click is your primary button, and adjusting the DPI. However, this software is Windows only, so you can't change any of those settings on Mac or Linux, and you'll simply be locked at that 1600 DPI default. For pricing, you can purchase the Dell MS700 for $50. Certainly not the cheapest mouse around, but probably the cheapest in this ultra portable category. When you compare it to the likes of Logitech's Mobi Fold, the Microsoft Surface Arc mouse, Lenovo's ThinkPad Presenter mouse, or even the Logitech MX Anywhere 3S, all of those have MSRPs of $80 or more. If you wanted to spend less, you could go for a very basic small mouse. This might include Logitech's Pebble Mouse 2, Satechi's On The Go mouse, or some of Logitech's other discount options. I will link to my reviews of all of these different mice in the video description, since I've reviewed just about every Logitech mouse at this point. Just keep in mind that these aren't built for travel specifically, but they're all small, so they won't take up excessive space in your bag. To wrap up with our differentiators and deal breakers, this mouse is small and portable, plus it gets even smaller when you spin it closed. The look is very clean and professional. It is a very simple mouse to use. It automatically turns on and reconnects when you open it, and there's only standard buttons to use, so there's really not that much to trip you up on. Finally, the battery life is solid with 24 months of use from the 2 AAA batteries. For potential deal breakers, the poor glide can make this mouse difficult to use, including making your cursor feel a little bit jumpy. The feet are also noisy on just about any surface type. The buttons are limited, which can hold back more sophisticated users who want things like forward and back buttons, for example. The touch scroll wheel doesn't work great for more precise movements. Finally, ergonomics are poor, which is expected for super portable mice like this, but it's still not ideal. If you are specifically looking for the cheapest way to get a super portable mouse, this might be it. But the noisy glide and other small annoyances probably make this a mouse that most people should avoid. If this is not the right one for you, as I suspect it won't be for most, I'd recommend either spending a little bit more to get a better portable mouse, or spending a little bit less and just getting a basic small mouse. If you feel like this has been useful advice, a like and a subscribe go a long way. There's affiliate links in the video description if you do like this mouse. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.